so funny about people is that everybody has a light. Every single person has a light. It is what you do with that light. Do you choose to let your light just stay dim because everybody else in the room is dim as well? Or do you allow your light to shine brighter because it can, and it has the capacity to burn longer and brighter with the duration and the brightness that it exudes out in the world? Hey everyone, welcome back. If you are new to the channel, my name is Lisa Marie. I am the host of Season Dialogue. I'm gonna do that again because I had a little shimmy in there. Season Dialogue, okay? And it's a space where we talk about any and everything. I am just here to be my authentic self. And let me tell you something, if you are new, we have cohesive conversations in the comment section. So I need you to join in. If this episode or any other episode resonated with you, what I want you to do is 3 things, okay? All right, so I need you to give me a thumbs up. All right, thumbs up. Number 2, I need you to subscribe to the channel. And then number 3, because sharing is caring and all of that good stuff, I need you to share, tell somebody, tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend so that they can pull up to the vibes, okay? Sit here, intermingle with us and just vibe, because this is a family and I love to see the people come back to the vibes and the conversations that we are having here at Season Dialogue. Okay, so right. Listen, I was going through my journal entries. Now I have books on top of books on top of books of things that I have written throughout the years, and one of the things that I remember reading that I said, oh, gotta have an episode about is the way in which we humble ourselves and become modest when we feel that we can't show up in any way outside of what people know us as. You know, there's this thing that we do, the mind kind of tricks us in a way a little bit. I don't know if it's our mind, but maybe the way that we've always appeared, where we felt like we could not be our authentic selves around other people. What I've found is that those people around us aren't really good people for us, because if we can't be our authentic selves, that means that they have a line or an area of judgment where we feel that we can't flow, where we cannot grow, we can't mature, and we can't just sit within ourselves. When I was writing that, I was talking about how I felt in the space of some family members and some friends, where I felt like I had to be one way because anything outside of that seemed like I wasn't aligned, or I wasn't being what they thought I needed to be, which caused me distress. It bothered me to the point where I felt like I needed to write about it. Revisiting that journal entry, that writing, really made me feel, in a sense, sorry for the space that I was in my life, but also like a congratulatory, like, girl, look at you now. You grew because you realized that on the outside of this, you were tired of muffling yourself in order for you to be seen as a certain type of somebody. So I want to ask you the question, and I'll answer it because I want to ask it out loud, but I'm doing it for you so that you can ask yourself, why is it that you humble yourself to the modesty that you still can't be yourself? And I'm not saying that at any point that we should be arrogant or pretentious in the way that we move and we show up and we do our duties, and we are. But what I'm saying is there are a lot of people who have talent, who have visions, who can do any and everything but humble, bridle, modest themselves down in order to show up in the background and not in the lead. Because I think that somehow in your mind you understand and you know that your light shines bright, but to make other people comfortable, you dim your light in order to be cohesive with the people around you. Sometimes the way people behave and the way that they think, it's actionable by the way in which they looked at their life and their circumstances, and the way in which they've grown themselves and what people taught them. I'll use this as an example. In some family members that I have, a certain elevation for them is comfortable. It's okay, I made it out, I'm good. And they feel that everyone around them should be to that place. But if anybody goes higher than that in the form of education, getting a good job, got a nice house, a nice car, they are doing too much and they think that they are better. And you have family members that play on that dynamic to make you feel like coming around and showing up is this way means that you are trying to be extra special, trying to be extra good, or that you different. And they will let you know that you're different. Also, on the other end of that, and people that we surround ourselves with, friends, you are the light in that friend group, but your modesty and your humbleness, right? You have to be cohesive and equal to their behaviors. Because anything outside of that in which you have seen in the way they behave with other people, or even in conversations, lets you know that you can't be the bright one in the room. One thing that I found out so funny about people is that everybody has a light. Every single person has a light. It is what you do with that light. Do you choose to let your light just stay dim because everybody else is in the room is dim as well? Or do you allow your light to shine brighter because it can, and it has the capacity to burn longer and brighter with the duration and the brightness that it exudes out in the world? Many of us have bridled ourselves to the capacity of just understanding that in the group of friends or people that we are in, family members, that we can't think, feel, or be actionable outside of that. And I'll tell you honestly, that is a space that keeps you contained, where you'll never really know who you are if you don't get up and try outside of that group, that box, that place. It's unreasonable for us to think that we were only made to be monotonous in the way that we show up, or be boring in the way that we live. I always say, if God gave you a special gift, right, you utilize that gift to the utmost, because that gift was for you and for good, and you should exude it out there in the atmosphere, because God doesn't want us to hide it. If your personality is to be a speaker or a singer or a writer or a poet, if you know that you are good business minded and you can direct employees and you can put things together, that you are a great organizer, that you are good with your hands, that you are a good teacher, that you are equipped with knowledge, that your intelligence is so high that you can do almost anything in the world, why would you stop yourself from being all of these things? Why? Because you are concerned with the way in which you will show up to other people. Does it make sense? It doesn't. Like, when we say it out loud, it really doesn't make sense. But when we say it to ourselves, why does it seem as if it's okay? It's short, it's sweet. I want to tell you something. If you are the person who knows that internally, right, you have this spark, you have this light that shines bright, and you keep withholding because of the fear of the way you show up on the outside, and the fear that people will walk away due to this excellence that you harmoniously exude, you can't help it. Rethink the way that you think about who you are. I'll say this and I'll repeat this again. We all have a light. We all have a spark. We all have something in us that God has given to us. And I don't think that He wants us to fit it all in a box. All of us have space to shine and be our authentic self and showcase our talents. He doesn't want all of us to be in the back, especially when your craft and your blessing and the thing that He has given you is to be utilized for your own good. And if you are comfortable in a space that just allows you to be congruent with everyone else, stay there. Maybe growth and self-realization, self-awareness hasn't hit you yet. I hope that it jars the thinking and the spirit in you to show up a little differently. Maybe it'll enhance the way of thinking in which you start to formulate a plan to show up differently somehow. Or maybe you just, again, want to stay the way that you are. I got 3 things I want to tell you step by step that would help you move outside of this modest, monotonous, humble person that you are. And listen, those words are great in the space in which it captivates you to be humble and modest. But in the space in which you need to be great and you need to walk into your greatness and you need to exude greatness, there are 3 things that I feel that would help you along the way. Number 1, when you know that you have the gift and you have the blessing and you have what it is that God has gifted you with, ask yourself, why is it that you feel that you have to contain it in a box, and who are you doing it for? Are you doing it because you are in fear of yourself, or are you in fear of others and the way in which they will look at you and the way in which they will show up with you? Number 2, ask yourself that if you still contain yourself in this box for years and years to come, will you ever begin to see the space and the place of yourself in which you've often thought about when you daydream or when you have those dreams at night, and the places in which people even tell you and communicate with you because they see that brightness and they see that light within you? How long you want to stay in the box, and what would that do for you? Will you ever see the outside of that box if you are contained? And number 3, think of the possibilities of being outside of that box. Think about your future. Think about what it looks like for you. Think about how comfortable it would feel that you could utilize your skills and your gift and God's blessing that He has over your life. And think about how it would change the dynamic of your life as well. Because for many of us, we are one step away, we are one decision away from changing the trajectory of our life if we only stick to the decision that makes us who we are, instead of deciding that the decision that we want to make may be too much for us right now. You are allowing yourself to sit back longer and longer and longer and not tapping into the person that you truly are. Think about that. Don't be afraid of what is already given to you. Don't be afraid of how you feel other people will see you. Don't be afraid of yourself. You already know who you are. You already know your greatness. You already know how you move. You already know what you contain. You already know what God has told you, and that's the key. You already know what God has told you and shown you. And even by the words in which other people have communicated to you with your greatness, stop staying in the box. Step outside of it and experience what it is for you. That's all I got. It ain't a long-winded video. Again, I'm going to go back to what I said. If you resonated with the video, please give me a thumbs up, subscribe, and tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend to pull up, because we like good vibes here. And in the comments section, I want you to tell me what it is that's holding you back. Is it yourself? Is it people? Or you just don't know how to navigate in your life right now, and so you are stuck in how to maneuver through this thing called life and show up as your best self. Okay? All right. Peace.